up and welcome to the Beneath the Dirt podcast. I'm your host, Rombone. Thank you for tuning in. Episode 105 up in here of the show. Thank you for tuning in week after week. Views are getting increasing over the weeks. Subscriptions are going up, all that stuff. Everything is just good around here. Episode 105. Hope everybody's staying safe out there and enjoying this season of the pumpkin. A whole lot of shit is going down this October for 2020. The quarantine Halloween is actually kind of lit, if you ask me. Been staying entertained this past week for sure. We got a Twiztid announced the Freek Show celebration, the Yum Yum Flower, the new Joker's card from ICP dropping in just a couple months. And we got new music releases, some news. So let's get into it with the brand new album from Rittz, Picture Perfect, out everywhere now. I got my hard copy of it, pre-ordered that shit. Rittz been staying consistent since the White Jesus mixtape that he dropped a while back. And this project right here, Picture Perfect, is pretty dope. I gotta say, this is probably my favorite Rittz project since he did Next to Nothing, his second album on Strange Music. His first three are super dope to me, but he killed it with this new album, Picture Perfect. It's more of like a mellow kind of album, real life shit, a lot of reflectiveness, I guess. I don't know. On here, Rittz is the shit though. A lot of unheard producers I've never heard of are on this album. I think the beats are dope on here. He's got a song on here that was produced by C. Lance, featuring Mercules and Snack the Ripper. That is a fucking banger. He's got an album either done or in the works with C. Lance right now, and I want to hear that album. I want to hear Rittz on this type of production for a whole album. He absolutely kills it. Dude is ill. Dude's got them multi-syllables. You know, he ain't just a fast rapper, you know. I think he might get pigeonholed into that category of being just a chopper, a fast rapper, but that ain't the case. Rittz kills it. Dope storytelling. A lot of introspective shit on here. Peep, Picture Perfect, if you ain't checked it out. And as of Saturday, I just looked now, it's number 4, but on the iTunes hip-hop charts on Saturday, it was number 1. So shout out to Rittz for having a number 1 album on the iTunes hip-hop charts. That's dope. That's a really good look. Dude just stays consistent. It's really dope. I'm really digging the album. I probably bumped it 5-6 times through already. So that's how I know I'm digging it right off the bat. It's getting multiple plays throughout the weekend. Very fresh. So go peep that Picture Perfect from Rittz if you ain't done it yet. You know, he used to be a strange music artist. So let's get into some strange music shit real quick. Talk about Joey Cool's new album, Coolie High, is out now digitally. You can get it through the Strange Music store, I'm sure. So go peep that. If you ain't peeped that, another Strange Music affiliate, Jelly Roll, dropped a new single this week. Overdose. This dude staying busy in 2020. He's got an album dropping soon. I can't remember when the album's dropping. October 16th, this week. Just looked it up. Self-Medicated's dropping this Friday. This is another single off that album featuring Still Matthews. I'm not a big Jelly Roll fan, but I know people that watch the show are. So go peep that Jelly Roll. And that's it for strange affiliations, if you will. And another new track that dropped this week. This one was fucking, for me, super anticipated. I've been waiting for this dude to drop new music. He did What Would Sheen Gun Do late last year. He dropped the Black Soprano Family project earlier this year, which was just okay to me, not special. but he dropped the first single off his upcoming album. This song's featuring Lil Wayne and Big Sean, called Timeless, produced by Hit Boy. And I've been waiting for this shit. I've been waiting for new Benny since he dropped Plugs I Met last year. Like last June, some shit like that. It's been a minute. But this song right here, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling this song. It's the production is not the kind of production I want to hear Benny the Butcher on. I don't know. I've seen people give it some love. I haven't really seen too many people hate on it or anything like that, or, give it any kind of criticism. I'm just not feeling it. Wayne fucking kills it on here. This sounds like peak Wayne from like 06, 07. Wayne murdered it on here. I'm not a big Sean fan, so I didn't really care for his verse. If he did something special, I'd say he did, but to me, it's just Big Sean, is what it is. But Benny, I like it. I want him on those Alchemist beats, the Derringer shit, the grimy shit, I don't know. I'm going to listen to the album. The album's Burden of Proof, dropping this Friday. So I'm hyped for it. It's dropping this Friday. I'm curious to hear how an entire project with him and Hit Boy is going to sound. One song, I listened to it twice and just wasn't impressed with it. And I love Benny. Benny's my second favorite rapper out there right now. Sometimes my first, depending on my mood. But the single did not impress me. Kind of disappointing. Unlike Conway the Machine. Conway the Machine's out there killing 2020. He dropped Lulu. What the fuck? No One Mourns the Wicked, From King to a God. All three of those projects were fire, especially From King to a God. And No One Mourns the Wicked, like shit. But I'll still peep out that Benny when it drops this Friday. Burden of Proof is the album. And it's kind of disappointing, but it is what it is, And let's get into some Juggalo shit, right? Let's stop fucking pussyfooting around. We're 8 minutes into the show. Let's get into some Juggalo shit right off the bat. Hold on one second. We're having fucking technical difficulties here on the fucking podcast. Me? No. Can't be. Here we go. All right. 25 years of Riddlebox. The album, the iconic classic album from Insane Clown Posse, just celebrated its 25th anniversary this past Saturday. And I wanted to talk about it. Every once in a while when an album celebrates a landmark anniversary and it's, a super classic album like the Riddlebox is, gotta talk about it. I think this was the second album that I ever bought and ever heard from ICP. It was either this or Forgotten Freshness. Forgotten Freshness is outtakes and, rare and unheard songs. That's what the Forgotten Freshnesses are billed as. But I think this was the second project that I heard from ICP right after Great Milenko. And, man, I fucking love this album. You got songs on here, Toy Box, Headless Boogie, Old Evil Eye, of course, Chicken Hunt and the Slaughterhouse Mix. 3 Rings, I'm Coming Home, Killing Fields, 12. Every song on the album's fire. This was the album where they really came into their sound and, got that Dark Carnival vibe down pat. Took them a few years to figure it out, but they did it with Riddlebox. Such a classic album from Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope. Production by Mikey Clark. I think this was the first project that featured Legs Diamond as well. So happy birthday to the Riddlebox. Such a classic album. Not going to beat it into the ground. Is what it is. And speaking of ICP, let's get into the fucking House Party Peep Show. It started going down last Saturday. Was the first episode. I talked about it. I debated with myself if I was going to buy it or not. I bought it. I watched, someone had uploaded the Juggalos Against Sanity or Insanity, whatever it's called, that game up to YouTube, and I watched it at work that Monday. It was Jump Steady, Violent J, Shaggy, and some dude, Manny. I don't know, JCW guy. It was supposed to be Rude Boy playing the card game for the first live stream of the House Party Peep Show. So I watched it on YouTube, and it was entertaining as fuck. So much so that I said, fuck it. I'm going to drop the $66.50 and buy it. But the first episode had quote unquote technical difficulties, which we'll continue to talk about the first week of the House Party Peep Show. The technical difficulties were the mics were sounding like shit, a lot of static. The first, I want to say at least half hour of the Juggalos Against Insanity game with ICP, Jump Steady, and Manny was pretty much unlistenable. But if you could get past the static, and once they kind of figured it out and put table mics up instead, the shit was entertaining as fuck. The banter from them back and forth, a lot of funny ass moments on there, you know. I had posted the clip of them, kind of throwing shade at Monoxide from Twiztid, but it was all part of the game. I think the game was made before the beef even happened or even started. So it's part of the game, but still a nice little fucking jab to the chin. Why not, right? But and they were capping on each other. It was a pretty entertaining show. And then Monday night, that's the schedule right there. We're on graphic. Monday night, we had the ICP seminar. We got a lot to talk about with the ICP seminar. I'm going to hop on my fucking Twitter here real quick and hop to the thread of the ICP seminar, because they talked a whole lot of shit during the seminar. And they said at one point that when it was getting towards the end, they had to cut some shit out because they were running so far behind schedule with everything they were talking about. But let's get into it. The first topic that they talked about during the ICP seminar was the 50 people that will be in attendance at Hallowicked this year in Violent J's house will receive a CD single of the 2020 Hallowicked single, Live Dead Forever. So Live Dead Forever is the 2020 Hallowicked single. It will be up digitally. They said that as well. They even debated on giving the CD single to the people who bought the House Party Peep Show live stream, to throw it in with the gift bag that you get for buying the House Party Peep Show. Violent J was for it, but Jump Steady and Shags, they were not for it. Shaggy was like, fuck that. Only the people in attendance. Jump Steady in attendance. My thoughts on that: the only way you could ever get a Hallowicked single, the physical copy, was to be in attendance at that show. And it just so happens this is the COVID-19 edition of Hallowicked, and only 50 people are going to be at Violent J's house to attend the show. Those 50 people should only be the ones that get that Hallowicked physical single. And, they had pointed out that the physical copy of the 2020 Hallowicked CD single will be one of the most rare audio pieces ICP has ever released. Outside of the EP that they auctioned off at the Gathering a couple years ago, they had auctioned off an EP with a few unheard ICP songs to somebody, and that person could do whatever they want with it. I wonder whatever happened to those songs. I wonder if they'll ever get released. But 50 copies of the Hallowicked 2020 single will definitely make it one of the most rare pieces of ICP audio ever fucking produced. So that's cool for the people in attendance, and I agree that the people in attendance should be the only ones to get that piece of merch. All right, next thing that they talked about, I'm going down the thread, updating it. The 5th Joker's card's dropping soon. Image will be revealed at Alla Wicked, and this is where they announced the first single, Ding Ding Doll, drops this Monday, which is today. I released the podcast on Mondays, record them on Sunday. So today, the new single from ICP, Ding Ding Doll, should be out. Can't confirm if it's out right now or not, but it should be out as you're hearing this right now. They did release a clip of it. The cover art for it is right here. They did release a 30-second clip of it. I posted it up to YouTube. I'm going to take it down once the full song is released. My thoughts on the clip is it's a 30-second clip. I'm not going to judge an entire song based on a 30-second clip. But based on, but one thing off the 30-second clip is it doesn't sound like a hype song. I'll say that. Which I'm not saying that you need a hype song to be your first single off an album, but I would prefer that, but it doesn't sound like that. So Ding Ding Doll should be out right now. And if not, who the fuck knows when, but hopefully it's out now. The next thing they talked about was the new ICP documentary. They're coming out with a new documentary. It's actually somebody else who's been filming ICP for the last 5 years. It's called The United States of Insanity, dropping 2021. It's about the FBI's profiling juggalos as a gang. I feel like this whole juggalo gang shit has been beaten to the fucking ground to a bloody pulp. And I don't know, there was a book about it. They did the fucking march. Did a whole bunch of shit. I don't really give a fuck at this point. Don't really care about the documentary. Especially, if it was about ICP or something, which they did talk about, we'll get to in a minute, but I just don't care about a Juggalo Gang documentary. Will I peep it? Maybe. And if it catches my attention, I'll watch the whole fucking thing. Who knows? Next thing they talked about during the seminar, new animated series on Netflix will feature ICP on an episode. So there's going to be a new animated series. They did say the name of it. I don't remember the name. I couldn't type it out fast enough when they said it, but it will be on Netflix. I believe 2021, they'll be on an episode of a new animated show. Also, there's a Woodstock 99 documentary in the works that will be on Netflix that they did interviews for already. So ICP will be in that as well. Woodstock 99 was so fucking ill. They had fucked up ICP's TV performance. They had like 2 tracks going at the same time. You could barely make out what was going on during their set if you were watching it on the pay-per-view. But I'm excited to hear their take on Woodstock 99 in that documentary. Dope that they're getting love for that. Next thing they talked about was the fucking long-awaited John Kick Jazz documentary. Where is the John Kick Jazz documentary? The 250 juggalos who attended the Carnival of Carnage show in 2017, I believe, paid $250 for the show, for all the proceeds to go to the John Kick Jazz doc. They said the John Kick Jazz doc is on the cutting room floor. It is too depressing. We talked about this before, I believe, when Violent J had talked about it on one of his cameo appearances that he does, those paid cameos that people do. He said it's too depressing. And no matter how they cut the documentary about John Kick Jazz's life, it's just too sad. And they don't want to put out that documentary where it's just sad as fuck. So instead, they're going to be doing a documentary about ICP, in-depth shit. They're going to be talking about stuff that wasn't in Behind the Paint, stuff that Juggalos have never heard, include John Kick Jazz, because Violent J had said he downplayed John Kick Jazz's role in Behind the Paint, his role in ICP and Behind the Paint. And they'll cover his entire life in the ICP documentary. They're going to include John's real role. Also talk about the original fourth member of ICP during the Dog Beats era. If you remember, there was a fourth member, the Jester. If you have a copy of the Dog Beats cassette, there's 4 members: Ghetto Style, Two Dope, Violent J, and the Jester. So they're going to be talking about the original fourth member of ICP during the Dog Beats era, during that documentary. And they're aiming for the documentary to be a documentary series, a docu-series, 3 or 4 episodes, they're saying, trying to get it on Netflix. If Netflix passes, ICP is just going to release it as a 3-hour documentary. So probably a 3-hour docu-series if Netflix passes on it, which they probably will. It'd be dope if they get it on Netflix as a docuseries. That'd be fucking fire. That'd be fresh as hell, but I don't know if I necessarily see that happening. Regardless, I want to see the documentary. The last documentary we got, and the only one that we ever got, was the Shockumentary, and that was when Great Milenko came out. That was 20 fucking years ago. A whole lot of shit has gone down from 97 to 2020. And they're saying they're going to cover a whole bunch of shit that hasn't been talked about or was included in Behind the Paint. How are they going to include that in a 3-hour documentary? If you're going to do a docuseries and go like in depth, do like a 5 episode, 5 hours, break it up into hour episodes, or just fucking release a 5-hour doc or some shit. I don't know. That'd probably be too long, too much at once. But I feel like to cover the almost 30-year career of ICP, it's got to be longer than a 3-part docuseries or a 3-hour documentary, in my opinion. So be on the lookout for that. Will any of this shit that they're talking about come to fruition? ICP is notorious for talking about shit that will never come out. Look at the last seminar they did in, 2018? Because they didn't do one last year. They did the Dog Beats performance. And, this is the only seminar we got this year. So, they had promised a whole bunch of shit in 2018 that never happened. All right, after the docu-series, they talked about the jerseys that they're wearing throughout the month during the ICP's House Party Peep Show will be for sale on Black Friday. So they'll be releasing all the jerseys that you see them wearing throughout the month on Black Friday. Then they talked about, they confirmed they're selling the psychopathic offices. Shout out to all the juggalos out there that were defending ICP. This ain't real, no one confirmed it, blah, blah, blah. There were people I know in Detroit that confirmed it before ICP did, that actually drove by the offices and confirmed that they were selling their offices. So no more Lotus Pod, no more offices, and wherever the fuck their office was, I don't even know. That's probably why they were having all the, that is why they were trying to clear out the warehouse. I would imagine Violent J's garage is full of fucking ICP's merch and shit or whatever. But they did say that they're looking to buy a new office. They're saying they want the new office in the middle of nowhere, some country land shit. The properties they're looking at are 50 to 100 acres, like huge fucking pieces of land. They're looking at calling it the Wicked Clown Compound. They want a place where they can have small concerts. They want like houses, warehouses, a music hall to have houses. They want like an outdoor pavilion for concerts. They want to have houses for juggalos to go and stay and rent out. So the Wicked Clown Compound is what they're aiming for. They said they wanted it to be like Princess Paisley Park. in Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch except rusty and shitty. That's what they said. So, the Wiki Clown compound. I thought they would be selling the psychopathic headquarters to downsize. At this point, they're running psychopathic out of Violent J's house, his basement, whatever. Old school vibes back in the 90s, Beverly Hills era, when they were in Alex Abyss's mom's basement. But it seems like they're trying to expand. To me, it doesn't make sense unless they really do find some shitty fucking broken down barn on a huge piece of land and then convert it. I don't know. It seems pretty adventurous, ambitious of them to do some shit like that. And, time will tell if the shit will really happen. And if it goes down, it goes down. If it doesn't, it's just another thing they talked about that doesn't fucking happen. Is what it is. So you got the Wicked Clown compound. Next up, they were talking about I don't know how this came about. They started talking about promoting 4 producers. Instead of promoting artists, they confirmed that they're not going to have artists on Psychopathic. So Psychopathic Records is literally just ICP at this point, which, you could call it speculating, but it's been written on the wall for a minute. DJ Clay released his album on his own. Ouija Mac has been releasing his own shit through Rotten Cake. The only project he had through Psychopathic was Gutter Water. Big Hoodoo's brand new album was through Eardrug Music. But they all still rep the hatchet. So ICP said, we're not going to have artists on Psychopathic, but they're going to maintain close working relationships with the artists that were on Psychopathic. ICP was on Hoodoo shit. ICP has yet to appear on anything Ouija besides Gutter Water. I don't know what's up with that. I'd like to see ICP hop on some Ouija shit. Their feature on Gutter Water was lackluster, to say nicely. I didn't like their feature on there. I like that song until their part comes up. But I would like to hear ICP or just Violent J or Shaggy, one of them, on some Ouija Max shit. So instead of having artists, they're going to promote 4 producers as the 4 horsemen of the metropolis. You got Devereaux, Shaggy the Airhead, and Straight Jacket. 3 of the 4 horsemen. They're going to reveal the 4th horseman at a later date. They want to do mixtapes with these producers, kind of in the same vein as DJ Clay. They want to put out mixtapes, and they want to remix classics like they pointed out, Tunnel of Love, The Tempest, Wizard of the Hood. Now, I would say Wizard of the Hood, Tunnel of Love are classics. Tempest, not a big fan of the album. I don't know how I feel. That's almost, I've talked about it before when they signed Cold 187 of Above the Law, and he put out that Only Solution tape where he was rapping over literally classic instrumentals from psychopathic artists. He was rapping over Murder, Murder, Murder. I remember that. You can't, they set him up for failure doing that. And I feel like they're going to be setting these producers up for failure for having them remix these classic albums. I could be wrong. But it just seems like a big fucking shoe to fill for these producers to step in and remix shit like Tunnel of Love. Wizard of the Hood, man? You gotta leave Wizard of the Hood alone. In my opinion. Mike P killed the production on Wizard of the Hood. So, I'm all for the new producers. I like ICP working with these new guys as much as I want them to be working with Mikey Clark pretty much exclusively for Joker's cards, at least anyway. I like seeing them reach out to the younger producers, Shaggy the Airhead, Straight Jacket, Devereaux, and give these up-and-comers some shine. You know, I like when these artists that have been in the game 20 plus years show love to the new dudes. It's fresh. It's a good look. And it keeps their shit sounding more relevant and current, you know? So for that is dope. But having them remix shit, I'm not sure about that. And like I said, the fourth producer will be named at a later date. And then they talked about the Ultra Live Monster 5. They revealed all 5 concerts for the Ultra Live Monster 5. Is any of this shit going to come to fruition? That's what I want to know. So the next Ultra Live Monster 5 will be an 80s metal themed show in 2021. They're saying all these Ultra Live Monster 5s, the next 4, will be taking place after Corona and everybody can get back in large groups together. They had all these crazy ass long names for these shows. I didn't get the names of them. But the first one is an 80s metal themed show. ICP will be playing their songs remixed as hair metal songs and will cover famous hair metal songs as well. So ICP is going to be remixing a lot of their songs to hair metal songs and covering classic metal songs like Rat, Scorpion, fucking Motley Crue, all that shit. So that'll be the first Ultra Live Monster 5. The third Ultra Live Monster 5 is bringing back the Prom Night Massacre. They're calling it the Prom Night Severed Limb Massacre Show. They didn't reveal where the second one's going to be. They didn't reveal where the third one is going to be. But if you remember, the Prom Night Massacre was a show that they did in Detroit. Maybe when Tunnel of Love dropped. Makes kind of sense. I don't know. But it was a local show that they did. One of their more iconic shows where they had like a classroom set up and dead bodies on stage and shit. So they're going to be doing that for the third Ultra Live Monster 5. The fourth will be taking place in the mountains of West Virginia. In the Appalachian Mountains. It's the ICP's hardcore hillbilly hootenanny hoedown. And I even wrote down all Ultra Live Monster 5 shows have long ass names that I can't remember. So the fourth one is going to be in the middle of fucking West Virginia somewhere. The Hillbilly Hootenanny Throwdown, whatever the fuck it's called. And at that show, the Bloody Brothers Project will be released at this show in West Virginia. Are they even working on this project? They had said a couple years ago, that Bloody Brothers would be coming out. So here we are bringing Bloody Brothers back up again from when it was originally announced over 20 years ago at this point. So that'll be going down at the fourth Ultra Live Monster 5, and then the fifth. This is the big one. It sounds like the first 4 are going to all be in the States. And then the fifth one is the Juggalo Island show taking place somewhere in the Bahamas. So it's the Juggalo Island show in the Bahamas. To get all 5 of these elite Juggalo coins is going to be a motherfucking pain. And I guess as it should be. You know, the way that they're billing this whole Ultra Live Monster 5, it shouldn't be easy to get all 5 coins. And they were talking about, and then they asked each other, how many people do you think will get all 5 of these coins? And Jumpsteady threw out a fucking stupid number like 1,500 or something like that. And finally Jay and Shaggy were like, oh, hell no, 150. 150. To me, that sounds more reasonable. I'd say less than 100, to be honest. Which means at the ICP Juggalo Island show, there ain't going to be that many people there. to do it in the Bahamas. And let's see if this shit even goes down. If they follow through with all that Ultra Live Monster 5 and everything we've talked about so far. Then they took a break. And then they came back. And then they talked about this. The Clownhead 13 is a series of 13 individual paintings by Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope. As described by Jump Steady. So Jump Steady is going to describe 13 clown heads to Violent J and ICP, and they're going to paint them. One of them is going to draw them, and the other is going to paint them. So either Violent J or Shaggy's going to draw it, and the other one will paint it, and they'll switch off for each of the 13 clown head paintings. They will have 999 copies of each painting. So they'll have 999 prints of each of the 13 clown head paintings. And then there will be one original painting of each one. And each one of those paintings will have ICP's blood in the paint. Similar to what Kiss did with their comic book in the 70s, 80s or some shit. And I don't even know when. But I remember Kiss doing that, where they had put the blood into the ink of the comic book. And, you know, Kiss fans are just as fucking crazy as juggalos. So, you know, kind of similar. That's what it reminded me of. ICP's blood will be in the original paintings. 990, the prints will be printed on canvas. So it's not going to be like a regular poster. It's going to be printed on a canvas. Kind of like what Tech Nine does with his paintings that he does and where he signs all the shit. Each painting will come with a booklet with info all about the clown head. Each one will be cheaply framed. That's their words, not mine. The original will be available at a later date. Each painting will also come with a collector's CD. So each painting will have a collector's CD that comes with it. After all 13 clown heads come out, there will be a coffee table book with all the paintings, and there will be photos of ICP in them, etc. So basically a coffee table book with all 13 clown heads in them. And unseen ICP photos, I don't really remember the specifics of that. I didn't write it down in my Twitter feed. They said the first painting will be released January of 21. So there you got that. That's all the news that they had dropped to the seminar up to that point. And then for the big news after that was, of course, the 5th Joker's card of the second deck. Yum Yum Bedlam. Yum Yum Flower? The fuck? They announced the name of the album is Yum Yum Bedlam. The name of the Joker's card is Yum Yum Flower. This will be the first female Joker's card. You know, speculative female Joker's card that they've released. All right. So what do I think of the Yum Yum Flower? What do I think of Yum Yum Bedlam? They had said when Fearless Fred Fury dropped that the name of the 5th Joker's card of the second deck was said 8 times on Fearless Fred Fury, and they were fucking not lying. That shit was literally the chorus for Night of Red Rum. Yum Yum Bedlam. I don't think any juggalo would have guessed Yum Yum as a fucking Joker's card, right? Yum Yum. No one was ever going to guess that. Bedlam. Maybe when he said that Bedlam had something to do with Bedlam, we could have put it together with the Yum Yum shit. I don't know. But Yum Yum Bedlam, Yum Yum Flower, the name to me sounds just like every other Joker's card of the second deck when I first heard it. Not impressed. But am I going to let that deter me from listening to the music? Absolutely not. You know, when I first heard Bang Pow Boom, I was like, what the fuck kind of name is that? Made no sense. And that album was fucking dope. It was a really good album. Same with Mighty Death Pop. The fuck kind of name is that? Dope album. So I'm not going to let what I perceive to be a dumb name or silly name deter me from listening to the music. Even with Fearless Fred Fury. And, you know, these albums are dope. And then you get used to the name and it is what it is. You got Bang Pow Boom, Mighty Death Pop, The Missing Link, Fearless Fred. It all sounds normal at this point, if you ask me. So Yum Yum Flower will probably get to that point where it sounds normal. Probably always be laughed at. But like I said, I'm not going to let it deter me from listening to the album. The Yum Yum Flower represents loyalty. So that's the theme of this album. The Yum Yum Flower is a poisonous orchid that represents loyalty. And it's dropping Christmas Day 2020. So in just under just over 2 months from now, we are getting the 5th Joker's card of the second deck. And if you look, Christmas falls on a Friday. Friday is the new day for music releases. And nobody ever releases music on Christmas. ICP even pointed that out themselves. But they're fucking doing it and they're dropping the album on Christmas Day. I've been fucking screaming at these dudes for months. Where is ICP? What the fuck are these guys doing during the quarantine? Why have we got no music? What are they doing? Blah fucking blah, right? Here it is. The 5th Joker's card of the second deck is coming in just over 2 months. Whether that release date sticks or not, I don't know. They didn't specify if the album is complete or not. But it must be damn near close to finish if they're dropping it in December. So I'm hoping that the release date sticks. I won't be surprised if it gets pushed back. We all remember Fearless Fred Fury got pushed back. A lot of people were pissed. If you go back to my very first episode of this show, the very first episode of this show was Fearless Fred Fury pushed back. Are we going to have a Yum Yum Flower pushed back episode? If I'm a betting man myself and going off ICP's history, I'd say probably, but hopefully not. So I'm really glad to hear that ICP has been working during this whole fucking quarantine, staying busy, killing it. Well, speculation has it that they're killing it. Because we ain't heard shit other than a 30-second clip of Ding Ding Doll. But I'm hyped. I'm glad that they've been staying busy during this fucking quarantine and not put it to waste. I'm glad to see another Joker's card being released this fast. They haven't released a Joker's card in under 2 years since probably Riddlebox into Malenko or Ringmaster into Riddlebox. And especially with the second deck, it's always taken at least 3 years for a new Joker's card to come out. And we're getting a new one in under 2. Fresh. I'm hyped for it. And not only are we getting the 5th Joker's card of the second deck, Yum Yum Bedlam is the album, Yum Yum Flower is the Joker's card, but it'll be followed up by 3 EPs dropping in 2021. The Seeds of the Yum Yum Flower. So we're going to get 3 EPs in 2021. Let's see. The first EP will be dropped April 2nd, 2021. The first one, April 2nd. Second one will be dropped July 30th. And the third will be out on Devil's Night 2021. These dudes are planning all this music, and I'm here for it. A lot of people have been staying busy putting out a shitload of music during this quarantine. And ICP may not have been putting out music, but it sounds like that they're banking this music to be put out at a later date. And I'm here for it. So we're getting 3 EPs in 2021 after the Yum Yum Bedlam. And once all 3 EPs have come out, the Seeds of Yum Yum will be released as a full album on November 19th. And the full length will include 3 bonus songs that were not a part of the original EPs. And then a song on each of the EPs will not be on the album. So they're doing this for the CD collectors, basically, to buy all the CDs. I'd buy it regardless. So we got Yum Yum Bedlam is the album. Yum Yum Flower is the Joker's card. The Seeds of Yum Yum, the EP. The EP is dropping throughout 2021. And that was it for the ICP seminar. A whole lot of news. And to be honest, the main shit that I want to see stick is the Joker's card. Drop on Christmas. The EPs actually drop in 2021. They need to be releasing music faster than they do. And like I said, I'm glad that they're releasing a Joker's card as soon as they are after Fearless Red Fury. I was kind of hoping that they'd already do it by now. But it is what it is, and we're getting it in December. I'd also like to see that documentary that they're putting out, not the Juggalo Gang one, but the docuseries that they're aiming for. Those are the 2 things from the seminar that I'd like to see stick and actually come out. It'd be fresh as fuck. I'm hyped for the 5th Joker's card. I've been hooting and hollering for new music, and we're fucking getting it. And I'm here for it. Super dope. The name is kind of The 30-second clip of Ding Ding Doll is But the song should be out now. I'm definitely going to bump the song. Not going to not listen to it. I have to listen to it. So that was the seminar. 3 hours for them to break down that shit. Who knows how long for me to break down that shit. We still got a whole bunch of shit to get to. And then Wednesday night, they had ICP's home movies. And I was thinking this was going to be like, when I think home movies, I think behind the scenes shit. In studio footage, backstage footage, shit that they filmed on the road. No. This is literally movies, short films that they made back in the day, back in like the Ringmaster era, Riddlebox era. They make mini movies and, put them together, very cheaply made. They had, the first one was like an infomercial, Alex Abyss. It was actually his character from the Big Money Hustlers movie. I can't remember the name of the character, but it was his, like that character in the infomercial selling a fucking juicer. It was It was hosted by ICP and Jump Steady. Oh, can't gloss over the fact that it didn't even go down on Wednesday. It didn't even go down on Wednesday. They experienced technical difficulties on Wednesday, postponed it till Thursday, almost a fucking hour after it was originally supposed to start. Did the ICP home movies thing actually start? So, technical difficulties. I don't remember there being any technical difficulties other than being late for the seminar. So the home movies was postponed Wednesday till Thursday. And my review of the home movies thing was it was bad. It wasn't good. There was a little bit of dope banter between ICP and Jump Steady, but it's a fucking Wednesday night. It's hard for me to stay up that late on a work night. And I ended up falling asleep for it. is what it is. Just wasn't a big fan of the home movies thing. And then on Saturday night, they had the Funhouse Talk Show in Violent J's house. They had it literally set up like a talk show with old school guests from ICP's histories, from ICP's history. It took, again, almost an hour for the show to start Saturday night. And once the show started, there was no fucking sound. And it took them a good 2-3 minutes to realize that there was no sound. They cut the fucking cameras, went black, came back. The sound was fixed, but the sound kept cutting in and out throughout the whole fucking night. It was fucking highly irritating. And for $66, bruh, get the fucking sound right, please. Like, I don't know who your sound guy is, but fire that motherfucker and get a new sound guy so we can have like uninterrupted shit during these live streams that we paid for. They had a live band in the studio, or Violent J's living room, for the talk show. It was ICP with that dude Manny, the JCW wrestler, as like the sidekick dude like Conan O'Brien has on his late night show. A little sidekick, even though Manny never fucking talked at all during the show. They had 3 guests on the show. The first guest was D Lyrical. D Lyrical was on the show with ICP. They were talking about the intelligence and violence, the gang wars game that they used to play back in the day. Now, the D Lyrical segment was pretty fucking cringy. This dude was standing the fuck out. And when I mean standing, I mean like hound dogging. Dude said he was going to cry at least 3-4 times. Like, dude was super geeked to be there. Dope for him. But as a viewer to watch, it was kind of cringy because ICP was just trying to talk to this dude, and this dude was like starstruck that ICP was there. Even though he used to be boys with them back in the day, recorded that intelligence and violence project with Violent J. Nothing crazy was talked about that wasn't talked about in the Behind the Paint book. You know, they were just kind of reliving those stories that Violent J had talked about and laughing about it. It was an okay segment, cringy. The second guest that they had was fucking the OG Chuck Miller. Chuck Miller, who recorded and engineered the Dog Beats EP and recorded and engineered a lot of the Carnival of Carnage album. And they talked about him in the Behind the Paint book as well. He was a pretty dope guest. He was an older dude, just kind of reliving and talking about those studio sessions with Chuck Miller. And one of the cool parts was how they would record certain shit, like the drive-through skit for the Dog Beats album and the skit on Psychopathic where they get pulled over by the cop and shit, how they were actually outside recording it from the car so they could get the engine idling and, you know, them acting it out and literally recording it outside of the studio. So that was a pretty dope story, you know, stories to hear from Chuck Miller and ICP. And Chuck Miller had talked about how they had like a whole bunch of motherfuckers in the studio for the redneck hoe part where it's like, bitch, use a hoe. Hoe, use a bitch. You know, that chanting part in the song. Chuck Miller was a part of that. That chant in the studio. So it was just cool to hear those kind of stories, you know, from the old school Chuck Miller. So that was pretty fresh. And then the third guest that they had on the show they had 4 guests on the show. I only written down 3, but they had 4. The third guest was Bob, the owner of Rock of Ages. Rock of Ages is like the known Juggalo record store in Detroit or the outskirts of Detroit. I've ordered a bunch of shit from Rock of Ages. So it was cool to hear them talk about their history together, doing in-stores together, shutting down the neighborhood when they would do in-stores back in the day. You know, how Rock of Ages gets exclusive shit to sell out of their store and how they operate in the current climate of, the digital age. So that was a pretty cool segment to listen to, them joke around with the owner from Rock of Ages. And then the fourth guest of the show was none other than motherfucking Tom Dubb. Tom fucking Dubb made his first appearance in like 17 years. I believe he said 17 years. And that sounds about right, because Green Book came out 03, and that's when like Twiztid was trying to leave with Tom Dubb, start Magic Records. And then he was gone after that. But Tom Dubb was on the ICP Funhouse talk show, and it was fucking great. ICP was like, yo, we're nervous for all the guests, but we got fucking Tom Dubb. You couldn't see the fresh ass Magic Records logo tat on the side of his head because he had his, what little hair he does have on the top of his dome was covering where the tattoo would have been. But they were breaking down a whole bunch of road stories. It was a really good segment. And Tom Dubb, there was one part where he was talking about how, they asked, what did you do after Psychopathic Records? And he's like, oh, I went to college for 8 years. And they're like, whoa, 8 years for college? He's like, yeah, I went to school for 8 years to get a 2-year degree. Funny as fuck. Dude went to college for 8 years for a 2-year degree. He also confirmed that he's been declared legally insane by the state of Michigan and now sits at home and collects a check. Fucking dope. It was a dope segment. If you're an old school juggalo, you know about Tom Dubb. They talked about him wrestling in JCW, the shit that he did behind the scenes, how he would go to wrestling shows with Jump Steady and have ICP signs, how just the best part of that show was the Tom Dubb segment. It was cool to see him back with ICP. I just assumed that there was bad blood there. But there isn't. He did put out that book a couple years ago. I don't think he trashed ICP in that book. I could never read that book. He even confirms. He said it was written like a fourth grader. I said that before. I think I said third grader, but same fucking difference. So it was dope to see Tom Dubb on the ICP Funhouse talk show. That was really dope. And it was just a fucking cool segment for them to do and have Tom Dubb back. So that was the breakdown for this week's Funhouse Peep Show, whatever the fuck they're calling it. And is it worth the $66.50 that they're charging for the month as far as the first week goes and what's looking like for the rest of the week? I got the schedule up right here. I'm going to say it's worth it. I've been pretty entertained. Yeah, the home movie show on Wednesday was kind of bleh to me. I wasn't feeling it, but the Juggalos Against Sanity, the ICP seminar, and the Late Nights Funhouse talk show was fucking dope. Thoroughly entertained by all that shit. So I'm saying it's worth the $66. Plus you get that gift bag when you buy it. You could still buy it. I think it's all being uploaded to YouTube a day or two later. So you could watch it there too. But this week we got on Monday, tonight, Descent into the Abyss of Evil. I think this is where they talk about serial killers and shit. Not really looking forward to this show, but I'll watch it because I fucking paid for it. Wednesday, they're having the Wicked Clown Campfire Stories. I'll be tuning in for that. I don't know what kind of stories they're going to be telling for that. Hopefully it's not literally like scary stories and they talk about ICP stories or something. Oh, I think this is about like Pick a Forest and all that shit. I could be wrong. But anyway, Saturday is JCW, the Red Moon Howling, featuring JCW wrestlers and commentary from 3D and Guido. So that's all going down this week for the House Party Peep Show. it's worth the $66 if you ask me. I've been entertained by it, and it's pretty cool. So let's get into some more new music. Project Born, they announced their new album. Born Dead 4 is dropping October 30th. They announced it during the ICP Funhouse talk show. They were a performer on the show. It was pretty cool to see Project Born in the house for that show. And their new album is dropping October 30th, Born Dead 4. And that's the image for it right there. Born Dead 3, from what I've been told, is a dope album. You know, they just recently released that Crapper Natural album from 95, and that shit is fire. I like that shit a lot. So, Project fucking Born, dropping October 30th. And then out of fucking nowhere, another psychopathic related artist, Ouija Mac. It pops up on fucking iTunes. This dude is dropping Wasteland, The Third Element, November 6th. We're just 3.5 weeks away from the new Ouija Mac album. He just dropped Zodiac, and we're getting the new album Wasteland. This dude's dropping 4 fucking projects in 2020. And I gotta say, not only is this dude consistently releasing music in 2020, but it's all good. It's all good fucking music, if you ask me. You know, I'm a fan of Ouija, so is what it is. But a lot of people talk the talk, but don't walk the walk as far as releasing what they said that they were going to release. A lot of people did it for 2020. Yeah, COVID fucked that shit up. But Ouija said, hey, fuck that. I ain't even going to talk about releasing 4 projects this year. I'm going to do it. So Wasteland is dropping November 6th. Here's the cover art for it. The pre-orders are up on his web store right now. And the CD, I am so fucking glad to see the CD is actually being pressed in a jewel case. Fucking dope. So that's the cover. You got the track list right here. 17 songs released through Rotten Cake. You got features on here from Roz Dilliams and Rittz. No features from ICP. He was on Big Hoodoo's album, but the only features on here are Roz Dilliams and Rittz. Rittz just put out that dope-ass album, Picture Perfect, we talked about earlier in the show. So I'm fucking hyped. Ouija's killing 2020, and I'm hyped for this Wasteland project, entirely produced by Devereaux. So let's fucking get it. Wasteland dropping November 6th. Pre-orders are up on iTunes and his official web store. Get that shit, especially if you're a fan of fucking Ouija. And then we got a brand new single from Clockwork. Clockwork dropped his new single, Magnifico. Another dude who's been killing 2020. He's only been dropping singles, no full projects, no EPs or anything like that. But every single this dude drops is fucking dope. I want a project from Clockwork like now. Before the end of the year, some shit, announce something. I bumped this single a handful of times. Catchy as fuck, man. Clockwork is dope solo. I really miss Gorilla Voltage. Gorilla Voltage was the shit. Their album Gods and Claws was fucking fire. But this dude's killing it solo. Mr. Gray, he's got his rock album in the works, dropping at some point. But go peep that Clockwork and go peep all the other Clockwork singles that have dropped this year, because they're fucking dope. Dude's killing it. And then not to be outdone, Magic Ninja and Twiztid announced the Freek Show celebration live stream, the Welcome to the Freek Show 20 Years of Terror, celebrating the 20-year anniversary with a one-of-a-kind digital experience. Friday, October 30th, with special guests Drive-By, Blaze, and ABK. Twiztid will be performing each song off their iconic album. And it's going through Sound Talent Group, Live From, and MNE. So there is you could buy this live stream similar to what ICP did with their Party House Peep Show. They have bundles up. You can get jerseys. They had a cassette with 4 songs from the Freek Show era that were never released, unheard. I wish I jumped on that cassette, and I didn't, and I fucking regret it. But they did say that they're going to release a CD with those songs on it. The announcement, we're just waiting for that announcement to come about. So October 30th, Twiztid is doing their Freek Show experience to celebrate 20 years of Freek Show. Is this, I don't know. I'm curious to see how they're going to do this. Is it going to be music videos? I'd like to see music videos instead of just a live performance. A live performance would be dope still. Like how they did on NetFest. That was dope. And it would be dope to see them do that. But if they did like music videos for every song or something like that. You remember Billy Obey last week talking about how he did a verse for an iconic album or a classic Twiztid beat or whatever the fuck he said. I wonder if it has anything to do with this Freek Show performance, or maybe that's going to be some kind of audio release that they're going to be putting out. Don't know, but this Freek Show, I will be buying this without a doubt. You know, it's just one night. I think it's like $13 for the performance itself. Like I said, you can get bundles. There's t-shirts, jerseys, all that shit. But I'm hyped for the 20 years of Freek Show. It's also 20 years of Bizarre Bazaar. It looks like we ain't getting shit for a Bizarre Bazaar anniversary, but you know, time will tell with that. But it looks like we ain't getting shit for that. So I'm hyped for that Freek Show celebration. And Magic Ninja was steady dropping fucking other shit throughout the week. They also dropped the Songs of Sam Hain. This is the Halloween EP Monoxide has been talking about on his live streams. 9 new songs. We got 2 new HOK tracks on here. 3 new Twiztid songs. We have a song with Madrox, Blaze, Lex, and Boondocks. We have a new song with Axe, Alla Xul Elu, and Axe Murder Boys, along with an intro. It's available digitally and on CD. So I bumped it digitally. Man, every time I hear that there's new HOK shit, I get super pumped because, you know, it's ROC, Hectic, and Mr. Bones, you know? And I get super hyped for new, HOK shit. And then I hear it and it's like, it's just okay. Nothing special. And that pretty much goes along with this whole EP. If you ask me, it's okay. Nothing special. Nah. I don't know. I don't know what it is with like Halloween themed releases. You know, even the one that they did, it was either last year or the year before where they had the new HOK songs. They put a couple past Fright Fest singles up on the vinyl. They had released it digitally as well. It's like, to me. I don't know. But I asked people on social media what they thought about this Songs of Sam Hain's project. A lot of people seem to be digging it, so don't take my word as fucking gospel. But I'm not feeling it. And then we got a new single from your dead homie Blaze. He dropped the second single off his new album, Cadaver. The song is called I'm Dead. I didn't listen to this one just because I've been bumping the Rittz. I did listen to the Songs of Sam Hain a couple times just to make sure, I wasn't really feeling it. So I didn't get a chance to listen to his new Blaze, but that's out there right now as well, digitally. His album drops October 30th. And then fucking Alla Xul Elu dropped a brand new single, the 3rd single off Mausoleum. the title track off the album. They released a lyric video for it up on the YouTube. I don't know if it's available on Spotify, Apple Music, anything like that. I guess I could look it up real quick because I got it right here. But they dropped the third single. I haven't heard it. No, it's not available digitally. Only on YouTube, it appears. So the title track off Mausoleum is up on YouTube right now if you want to go peep that. The album drops this Friday. I'm hyped for the album to drop. And speaking of the album dropping on Friday, I was talking about doing a live stream listening party for the Mausoleum, and I'm not going to do it because the Forever Face Alley, the Facebook group, is having a live listening party to celebrate the release of Mausoleum. It's going down October 15th, this Thursday at 11:45 p.m., 15 minutes before midnight when the album will be released digitally. Now, if you're not familiar with the Forever Face Alley, Luke the Goon, who I had on the show to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of my show last year, I do plan on having him back on the show again soon to talk about the Mausoleum. He's part of the Forever Face Alley, and it's all Alla Xul Elu shit. People with their forever faces. It's all Zul talk 24/7 over there. And it says on the flyer right here, featuring members of the Forever Face Alley community with special guests including Slasher Dave, Lee Carver, and Billy Obey. So you're going to get Lee Carver and Billy Obey from Alla Xul Elu appearing during this live listening party, and Slasher Dave, the guy who produced the album. So that is the Forever Face Alley on Facebook, live stream, Friday at midnight is going down. So I will not be doing a live listening party this year or for the Mausoleum like I had speculated I might do. I'm just going to leave it up to those guys to do it. Let them handle it. I'll probably tune in until I fall asleep because it's a work night for me, you know? So yeah, goddamn, we're an hour 13 minutes into this shit. The seminar was fresh. If you're still on the fence about buying the ICP Funhouse Party Peep Show, to me, it's worth the $50, $65, whatever the fuck. You get the gift bag. I think it's worth it. That Freek Show performance, that shit's gonna be worth it as well. I'm hyped for that. And it's only $13 for that. So yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for me. I'm Rowan Bone of the Beneath the Dirt podcast. And until next time, I'm out. Peace.